So before we discuss different type of public policy courses or all the variations of public policy courses, I would like to know what you guys understand with public policy. So first I'll be talking about the word policy, and then also public also. So what is policy? Can someone tell me what is policy? Arunima, tell me. Ajay, I have discussed with you about the policy. Can you tell me what is policy?
Uh, Sir, actions or plans adopted or made by the government for the society.
Okay, so actions and plan, with some objective to achieve is policy, and when it is made by government, it is called public policy. So there is a misconception among students that when a action or plan government makes, or something government brings for the benefit of the public, then it is public policy. It's not. So if government is making a policy to rejuvenate Ganga, or cleaning Yamuna, or saving tigers, or uh, saving some coastal lines, uh, working for wetland, all these possible policies which are not directly created to help people, you know, these policies are also public policies. So public world is like, same, the policies which comes through government or from government, not by the central government or state government, any machinery of government, and under the uh, government infrastructure, within the government infrastructure, will be called public policy. So if in a block, if BDO is coming with some plan and actions to bring development or achieve any goal in that area, that will also be called public policy there. Okay. So now is everyone is getting what is public policy? सबको समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
So it's plain and simple that अभी मतलब like we'll keep it plain and simple right now कि objective and strategy to achieve that objective will be called policy, and if it is coming through government or coming by government, it will be called public policy. So now there is another word which I want to discuss: governance. Can someone tell me what is governance? Hmm? Anyone? Can someone try to explain what is governance?
So the policies and the kind of framework the government has to govern its the population of the country,
So
or
please
like
to remember one thing, that when I'm asking to describe or define a word, you cannot define the same word to do that. So the policy which government bring to govern is
I
governance.
mean, okay, so we can use the word regulate, like regulate the affairs of the people. Mhm.
So first tell me what is matlab, if I'll ask you in which part of speech governance is like, noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, है ना? Governance is what? Is it noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, what?
So I guess
A noun.
It is a
Noun.
noun. Okay. So, right. So governance is the kind of mode, or the entire structure of government through the mode, matlab the mode which by which government tends to govern and which has been created to uh, put the policies or the rules among people, or for to execute any government's work will be called governance. So basically, matlab, I'll be explaining in a very easy word. Governance, when actually I'm why I'm talking about this particular word, because the first course that which comes under public policy domain is public policy and governance from TISS Hyderabad. Okay, so TISS Hyderabad, and this is the most famous course for public policy because it is directly called public policy and governance. So now let me tell you the connection between public policy and governance. Like that government of India has Indian government structure is divided into three parts: judiciary, no, executive body, and legislative. So in the executive body, you will get the ministries. Under ministries, you will have like some law and order based organizations, like administration based organization, police, traffic department, everything that has been created, and that will called infrastructure and governance, you know. And if any policy is being introduced, that must need, and that will need a infrastructure to get run. Let me explain you a thing. Like Delhi government came up with a policy, odd even policy. So who will implement that and how it will get implemented? So you will not create a separate task force or a separate department every time to run this policy. What you do is you use the existing infrastructure to run this policy. So traffic police and Delhi police, these two organizations took, or the work has been assigned to these two organizations to uh, actually to implement the odd even rule. In addition, if these two organizations doesn't have, or do not have sufficient manpower or resources, government can put or give a manpower from other department, or they can hire manpower for temporary basis to provide the necessary manpower for the policy. So like what are you getting here? Like for a policy, there is a need of a infrastructure, and that infrastructure will be not only people, but technology, people, um, even many of the time these infrastructure will be made through connecting two three different infrastructural part of the government. Like one policy is being implemented through traffic police and Delhi police also. So all these two parties are accountable for different rules, but the entire policy is being run by both of the organizations. So similarly, whenever any policy which you are thinking to bring or implement, you need a infrastructural support for that. So if you are learning for public policy and you are not learning about the government infrastructure, and the capacity of government infrastructure or the flaws of government infrastructure, then your public policy study is not effective, because you can bring good laws, good rules, good plan of action, but you will not be able to implement because you don't have supporting infrastructure. And many of the time, if the policy is very ambitious and it is very complex, but your system is not able to implement that policy on itself, then your policy will have a very like by default error of not producing good result. So my point here is the PPG course is completely focusing on policy making and implementation with a comprehensive study of governance, that on which government or what are the flaw of government infrastructure has or have, or what are the capacity it has, what are the capability it has. And when you are thinking about any policy, how do you use that government infrastructure to implement that policy? ठीक है, तो ये जो है आपका सबसे पहला कोर्स है which is there in TISS, which is called PPG, है ना, Public Policy and Governance. Second course or rest every course that I'll be discussed today is like extension or like expertise, like a specialty or a specialization within that policy only. So the first course that I'll be talking after PPC is regulatory governance. So what is regulatory, or can anyone explain that what is a regulatory body? Hmm? Anyone? Khushi, Sanskriti, Shivam, Shreya, anyone?
Sir, I think a controlling body.
हाँ, मतलब somehow somewhere मतलब you are right for मतलब till a certain extent, but it is much more than controlling body. Controlling body can be judiciary also, controlling body can be police also, but here regulatory is like bringing laws or different rules at different time, and keeping the industry, if are putting regulatory body on a certain industry, keeping the industry error free, like there should not be ill competition. So the point here is, I'll be explaining in a very brief, because the detailed videos about these courses has already been uploaded, has been uploaded to the YouTube channel, and you can also ask me anytime after these classes. So in brief, I'll say that India is more of capitalist economy these days, and when you become capitalist, basically what is the main feature of capitalist economy? That uh, the products, services, and national resources, everything can be created or owned by private bodies also. And this the private these private bodies will not be having monopoly, but you will allow competition to create as per your capabilities also. So like you see that you have soaps now, n number of companies are making soaps. Any product and service you can take, and n number of companies are participating or producing or providing those service or product. So once, if you'll not have a regulation or regulatory body over them, these private companies will start making cartel, or there are a number of errors that can come to that industry. So to safeguard the capitalist economy, and all the error which you see, or many of the time we have been calling it demon of economy, the capitalist economy. So all those error that you actually see or visualize can be dealt through regulatory governance. So this is a second course. Number of seats are very low, and you'll be facing tough competition here. So y- you can decide whether you would like to go for this course or not. My idea is, if you have idea about the economy, if you have idea about the politics, if you have idea about the law, and somehow you are aware about these three subjects, then you can choose this particular program. Even if you don't have the idea about all these three subjects, next 3 4 months you can work over it. But to be matlab, to be very productive in that course, you should have certain kind of knowledge developed before you go to the course. ठीक है, इसके बाद next course होगा हमारा, next 2 3 courses are like urban policy and governance, water policy and governance, and some courses which has major policy aspects also. They like climate change or disaster management. These 2 courses also have policies in it, but we'll be talking about these two, water policy and urban policy. So again, all the things that we were talking about policy will be here, but with a certain aspect. So in urban policy and governance, you will be learning about urban infrastructure, how urban infrastructure is being developed, or what are the modern need of urban infrastructure, how people of the urban area should be designed, but not people, the living of the urban area should be designed, public transport, public utility services, and growth opportunities, economic opportunities, how it should be connected with other areas or other rural areas. So all these things you'll be learning here. All the problems with comes with high concentration of people will also be dealt here. So these things you'll be learning here in urban policy. In water policy, see the next somebody had told that the next world war will be based on water. So because water is the groundwater is declining, and water management these days is very important, because even in India, you can see that very large amount of people are now getting very less water, less than their daily needs. So water policy and governance would be a very challenging subjects, and the employment these days in this course is very high. There are a number of projects which are going on, and it will also cover all the water, we're learning about a study about all the water bodies, how the water is being used, who are using how much water, who is paying for how much water, and all those aspects, water as a resource or water as a commodity, you will be learning here, and how government is trying to manage or improvise the condition of governance on water. Okay, so these two courses are again in Mumbai, and number of seats are not very high, but at the same time number of applicants are not also very high. So if you have interest, you can apply here. Next course that I'll discuss here is I'll not be discussing anything on health, because public health programs are also very much policy based. So if anyone is interested in policy making for the health infrastructure or health, they should opt for MPH and any extension of MPH. That three extension is there: social epidemiology, economy, finance, and health administration. And even MSW public health is also this program also covers a lot of health policies, and you can be the part of advocacy or implementation of health policy for from this course also. So we'll not be talking about health-based program here. Rather, I'll go to TISS Tuljapur campus, and there is a very promising course which TISS Tuljapur has, is DPP. So the full form of this program is Development Policy, Practice and Planning. Okay, Development Policy, Practice and Planning. So now as you can see that they are not calling it public policy, you know, development policy. So these policy, when we are talking about development based action, development based uh, objective and goals and strategy to achieve that goals, will will come under development policy. And it's not necessary that government or government bodies will bring these policies. So as an NGO, as an corporate, as an individual, as an administrator, anyone can work or can have can work on development goals of any reason. And at the same time, this program also not uh, not pushing you for one picking one side, either rural or urban. Both area will be equally important or will be discussed here. You will be working for both areas. You will be knowing the development challenges. But the key aspect will be, it will be at very focal level, like regional level or or like you'll be working for a development of a village or development of a certain urban area or certain region. You know? So and since it is development policy, the most of the policy or most of the thing that you'll be discussing here or working here on the developmental goals which are based on economic uh, socioeconomic improvement, or you can say reaching or achieving socioeconomics goals, or working good at socioeconomic parameters. So this programs actually is very much close to business policies also. So like when a business wants to create a product or sell a product, they make policies too. So similarly, here you will have to create some infrastructure, some supply chain, some you will have to you will have to create some enterprise. So all those things you will be studying here, and of course development, all the aspect of development will be the big part of their learning outcome. So this is also very beautiful course. And employment, and one of the things that everyone thinks that this Tuljapur is like uh, what do we say, what is the opposite of superior? Inferior. So inferior campus, but it's not. This Tuljapur is a very beautiful campus with very um, strong set of professors, and the four courses that this Tuljapur offers have a very high rate of placements, and you can literally create a good career from that place. So and at the same time, since every metropolitan or every city or urban area students, um, they think that this Tuljapur is in a rural space, so mostly we'll be studying about rural sector. That's not true. So if you are not very sure about your test preparation, and if you think that you cannot score around 60 and uh, more than 60, and still you think that you'll be easily score 45 and 50, in that case also you can pick one of the courses from in test Tuljapur. So these are the all courses that TISS has, which are very close to public policy. Other programs will also have policy component. Even you can go in public policy sector or public policy domain from learning by learning development studies or media and culture or mental health, because every program has some policy aspects too. But I'm not discussing all the policy aspects of all the program. Rather, I have selected the programs which has policy in its core learning. Okay. So these are the programs that you have for policy courses.